Injuries are a huge part of all physical sports. We've seen it happen time and time again. Tennis is no different as it requires extreme flexibility, agility, and strength. This often leads to some pretty nasty injuries. That's precisely what happened with Daria Saville, as she suffered a devastating injury in her game as the Tokyo Open clashes started. We need to tell you a lot, so let's dive in. First up, we'll start with what led up to the match. The four-time Grand Slam champion Naomi Osaka was set to go against Daria Saville in the first round of the 2022 Tokyo Open. While Osaka's performance hasn't been reaching the standard she usually sets, Saville started the year ranked outside of the top 400 spots. But Saville wasn't comfortable outside the radar and worked her way up to the top 50 recently. She started by reaching her first quarterfinal of the year at the WTA 250. But she made her mark on the tennis world when she became the lowest ranked quarterfinalist in the tournament's history. So Osaka had to get her form back while Saville wanted to climb higher. Saville was excited to face Osaka at the main draw for the WTA 500 tournament. One of the reasons was because the rising star could see herself winning against the out-of-form former world number one, but from the title of this video, you can guess that it didn't exactly go her way. Next, the moment it all went downhill for Saville. Just 7 minutes into the clash, Daria Saville collapsed onto the field after hitting a cross-court forehand in the second game of the match. The world number 55 suddenly yelled out, "My knee!" before her face twisted in agony and she clutched her left knee. Her opponent Osaka rushed towards the other side of the court. She immediately dropped on her knees, consoling Saville, brilliantly displaying sportsmanship. The match ended then and there after several minutes of immediate treatment. Saville's team had to admit to themselves that this injury wasn't a minor one. Before giving up, she went to her seat and tried several footwork exercises before retiring after only 11 points. The pair shook hands as they left the field. The Australian athlete then tweeted that she was in disbelief. She exclaimed that what the actual just happened. It seems as though she didn't expect such an injury to happen and said that she was even more shocked than sad. Almost a day after her previous tweet, she came out to confirm that it was a torn ACL. At the same time, she assured fans not to worry. She promises that while her injury prevents her from playing, she'll be fine overall. Saville isn't new to injuries. Her career's been blighted by injuries which included long-term knee and Achilles problems which have held her back for the major part of her career. In her tweet, she said this injury gave her flashbacks to 2013, which we'll get to in a bit. Following that, we have Osaka's reaction to the entire event. The Japanese player was on a losing streak before this match. The former number one star had been in a horrible slump which finally ended, but in the most unfortunate manner. Osaka said watching Saville collapse like that was really scary. She explained that initially she assumed that her opponent was yelling due to her forehand being out, but she soon realized it was out of pain. She had rushed towards the injured star and draped her towel over the knee. She continued that she felt really scared and sad for Saville, having faced her own injuries this past year that led to her slump. She had issues with her Achilles and back issues. According to her, athletes have a very high pain tolerance, and for them to scream in pain is not common. She requested for the fans at the Ariake Coliseum to clap for the Australian, calling her an amazing player. While Saville attended to her injury alongside her team, Osaka said she was sure that the fight would continue, with the Australian being a fighter. Although she won and will go on to play Brazil Beatriz Haddad Maia in the second round, she said that her win feels weird. In fact, she doesn't even feel like she won. One reason might be a persistent shadow of loss chasing her in the first round in her last three major tournaments. Osaka's happy to progress through the tournament, but isn't thinking about the final too much. She's just been taking this one step at a time. Even if she hasn't won before, she's defending the Pan-Pacific Open Championship, with it being played for the first time since 2019. Moving on, it seems like Daria Saville will spend her time on the sidelines again. After Saville confirms her injury after getting an MRI, she's now looking at another period of time out while she recovers. The Moscow-born star competed under the name of Gavrilova until last year. She then got married to her Australian husband, Luke Saville, who's also a tennis player. Her injury in 2013 was another ACL that forced the 28-year-old to undergo extensive knee surgery. As a result, she missed a significant part of the women's tour, but as of recently, she missed the majority of the 2021 season due to an Achilles tendon surgery, which dropped her to the 627th rank in the world. This match led to her disappointment as she worked hard to climb to the 55th number. This injury puts her back in the injury phase of her career, where she'll have to witness her number drop down again. Now moving on to other related news that might interest you. First up, Osaka had pulled out of her next match. After winning the unfortunate match against Saville, Osaka was set to face the 5th seed Hadid Maya this past Thursday. However, she pulled out due to some abdominal pains that left her behind and sent Maya straight to the quarterfinals. In her statement, she expressed her sadness in doing so, apologizing to her fans for the tournament taking place in her own country. She wishes that she could continue to play and feels honored to have the opportunity in the first place, but unfortunately her body held her back from defeating her slump. Osaka technically only played for a few minutes this entire tournament in her home event. This is referring to her match with Daria Saville, who pulled out due to an injury. The Japanese player has had a pretty tough year. Nonetheless, she described this year as challenging and unfortunate, and we can see that happening. In the finals of the Miami Open, she was forced to sit out of the season due to her Achilles injury. The recent US Open also left her behind as she struggled with her back injury. She claimed that this year had a lot of downs, but she's grateful for her health and happy with herself overall. Next up, Zhang moves to the finals in the Tokyo Open. The Chinese Qinwen Zhang edged out Veronika Kudermetova on Saturday night with 5-7, 6-3, 7-6 out of 3 in a 3-set tiebreaker. Before this match, the 19-year-old won against the Japanese Misaki Doi, Spaniard Paula Badosa, who's the top seed, and American Claire Liu. After those fantastic wins, ranked at number 36, Zhang will face the Russian Samsonova next in the finals. She quickly found her way up the ranks by claiming a spot in her first Hologic WTA Tour singles finals. The match lasted for 3 hours and 4 minutes. She opened up that her win felt incredible and pronounced that her opponent wasn't easy to beat, but the next one is pretty tough too. Louis Damila Samsonova, on the other hand, is no easy fighter to face and made it to the finals as well. She won against Chinese Xiuyai Zhang at the Ariake Tennis Forest Park on Saturday night. At number 30, she was set to face the winner of the match between Zhang and Kudermetova. Her furious fights have been insane as she didn't lose any set this past weekend at all against the number 8 and number 3 seeds. So far, the fight is leaning heavily towards Samsonova due to her powerful victories. Last up, the US Open semifinalist made an early exit in Tokyo. Caroline Garcia had been a splendid player in the US Open, reaching the semifinals, but the number 2 seed's performance in Tokyo has been pretty short and mediocre. She'd been on a roll, winning the Cincinnati Masters last month and then reaching her Grand Slam semifinal at Flushing Meadows just shy of 2 weeks ago. But alas, she could only go so far in Tokyo. Garcia came up short against world number 28, Shui Zhang, who fought back pretty hard. She outlasted Garcia in the final set after the tiebreaker. Fans humored themselves, crediting her victory to the sandwich she ate during the changeover, but whatever the reason, after a 2-hour and 30-minute match, she went on victorious, facing her next opponent, while Garcia was unable to live up to her expectations in the opening match at the Pan Pacific Open. She was ousted by 4-6, 7-6, 7x5, and 7-6, 7x5. That's a wrap for this video. What do you think of Saville's injury? Do you think she'll have another fantastic comeback, or do you think her injury will get the best of her? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.